involved in the development of a general curriculum model. Then we will discuss uh, the role of the classroom teacher in the first chapter. And with that, this chapter content finishes. And in the next chapter, we mostly will focus our attention on the points of departure and the basic orientations that there are in designing a syllabus, what those basic orientations are. We will focus our attention on uh, gathering, collecting some information about the learners in form of learner analysis and task analysis. And we will also learn basically about the kind of data and information you can collect about your learners to analyze their needs, mostly entitled as objective and subjective data. And finally, we will close this chapter by discussing certain issues related to learning goals. So in order to not waste any of our class time, let's start with the notions of syllabus and curriculum. You know, these two concepts or notions, however simple they might look on the surface, have created a lot of confusions in many areas of the world, with many teachers and educators in the field of language teaching. So clarifying the concepts would be the first and the most important beginning step in learning more about syllabus design and materials development. Okay, let's see. Let's start with the concept of syllabus. Would you please tell me what your understanding of a syllabus is based on your reading of the first chapter? What are the features of a syllabus? What is a syllabus? This is the simple question.
Yes, yes, there, doctor.
Hello there,
Uh,
Saer.
yes. It's like what I really have interested in this chapter about syllabus and curriculum and then differentiate between them. Let us first start with the syllabus. Uh, According to some scholars and specialists, they define a syllabus as essentially concerned and closely related to the selection and grading content.
Excellent, very good.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
selection and grading of the content. Very good.
Yes, it is very limited. Yeah, I mean, syllabus is limited to particular subject of particular classes. I mean, and syllabus may be concerned with issues maybe happen inside the class. Take out to the class and to observe what things that maybe happen inside the class and try to find a solution for them. Yeah, I mean, it is a limited, very limited.
It's led to the classroom
Yes,
situation.
I mean,
Yes.
also syllabus is and another according to another. Let me see that one of the scholars, I don't know, mention his name, doesn't on the top of my tongue, but I can't remember it. Syllabus is considered, according to him, is document that describe specific.
I lost your voice, Saer.
Yes, doctor.
Hello, yes, Ebtesam.
Yes, yes, doctor. Syllables concerned with the specification of what units will be taught in the course or in the class, and is express certain assumption about language and about the psychological process of learning and about the pedagogic and social process within a classroom. considered we can it might be explained as a curriculum's practical implementation plan.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eftisam. That's right. So, according to what your friends mentioned so far, syllabus, first of all, is more localized, is more specific, is limited to the happenings of a special, a particular classroom, and it is a description of whatever goes on in the course with regard to the content, with regard to the activity, and anything that students are expected to know about and learn. So, in this sense, as your friend Eftisam mentioned, much of what is included in the syllabus reflects the syllabus designer's beliefs and the kind of assumptions he or she holds about the language learning process. It means that you prepare your syllabus based on the beliefs that you have about how languages are learned, about the nature of the language, a phenomenon called language, how best it is learned, how best it is taught, and what features you consider most important uh, about the language to be included in your syllabus. So these are very important points to remember, everyone. First of all, knowing that syllabus is very limited, is more localized, is quite specific, and it actually is related to the selection of content and the gradation of this content in the throughout the course. It means that you select content and then you decide in what order to present it to your learners. The order in which it should be presented depends on a lot of several different factors that we will discuss later on, not right now. Well, Eftisam, is there anything else you want to mention about syllabus?
Yes, Doctor. Syllabus is always is given to students from the very beginnings of their studies. Its purpose to understand their benefits and their responsibilities, the subject by the teacher. It's given by the teacher.
Yes, exactly. A syllabus is a roadmap, is a guideline for the students and teachers alike to know what is expected of them, what is actually going to happen in the course, and how things are going to be done. It gives them, a kind of direction about knowing what exactly is going to happen in the course. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Episam. And your friend Mani Khalid has written, curriculum is a very now we are going to introduce the notion of curriculum. So curriculum, in contrast to the syllabus, is a very general concept, as your friend has mentioned here, which involves a number of different considerations. These considerations are going to be explained and analyzed in a few minutes. And syllabus refers to a subpart of the curriculum, which is concerned with the specification of units, or let's call it content, that will be taught and how this content will be taught. That's absolutely correct. So it's a statement of content along with the methodology, how it's going to be taught, which is based on planning language courses. We are going to learn that this planning happens in the curriculum development process. That's why you said that syllabus is a sub-part of curriculum. Now we are going to explain how syllabus is a part of the curriculum. And so if you take a look at curriculum as a general concept, syllabus is one aspect which is related to the curriculum and is actually an important part of the curriculum development process. So what other issues are considered important under the curriculum development process? When you say it's a general concept, what sort of
Yes.
issues it deals with? Yes. Hello? I guess there's something wrong with your microphone, Saer,
Yes,
because
yes, dear doctor.
all right.
I have just a comment, short comments about, in addition to what we mentioned about syllabus, there is opinion and according to the traditional notion, define a syllabus as a statement of content which they depend on in for planning courses for various kind. And the responsibility of the syllabus design is to select and grade this content. Am I right?
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely correct. Yes, and as your friend has mentioned here, Nurul Hoda, when a student starts a specific subject in a class, he needs to know exactly about the subject, what that subject exactly contains. And this syllabus is the document that gives you enough information about the content related to that subject you want to learn. Great. Now, if you go back to the definition of the curriculum, and you say that it's a general statement of the purpose of the course, and it usually makes a lot of general statements about how language is learned, about the learning purpose and experiences that learners expect to receive throughout the program. It also makes general statements about how this course or the content or whatever that has been decided about in the development process will be evaluated, and it even talks about the role relationships of teachers and learners. So you can see that when people are developing a curriculum, there are a lot of different considerations that they have to focus on. They include both educational and non-educational issues like extracurricular activities, the amount of time that is allotted to each subject, about the dress codes that students need to follow, about a lot of regulations like if a student is allowed to carry their mobile phones with them into the class, or if they can eat food during the lessons. So these are all non-educational issues that are also amongst the various considerations that syllabus design attends to and focuses on, not syllabus design, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Curriculum development attends to and decide tries to make decisions about. Yes, that's right, Noor. Syllabus is basically a document that defines the subject, gives more information, a roadmap, provides a roadmap for the learners to know what is expected of them, what they are supposed to learn in this course, and yes, syllabus is mostly designed by syllabus designers, Zainab. Even though we expect teachers to design their own syllabuses, but unfortunately, in reality, when we come to the role of the classroom teacher, in the design of the syllabus, we see that teachers mostly are not given that much freedom to or time to prepare their own syllabuses. And so this is the job of the syllabus designer or some professionals, team of experts to prepare some syllabuses for the teachers to consume and use in their classes. But the case is that in some certain situations, like uh, say the curriculum of the tertiary education at the university level, you're right. Instructors, professors are allowed to design their own syllabuses of the course based on the suggestions provided in the course curriculum by the officials of the country. And hey, Dad, a curriculum is more comprehensive. Definitely, it is more comprehensive process than the syllabus design. It includes the processes that are used to determine the needs of a group of learners. to determine the aims or objectives of a program, to address those needs, to determine an appropriate syllabus. That's right, exactly. If you can give me an example of a real situation from your country. Uh, this shows me how much you have understood the notions of curriculum and syllabus. If you could provide an example from a case in an educational setting in your country.
You are
Are there
now
any
unmuted.
teachers among you? Hey, Dad, are you a teacher? Okay, where do you teach? Yes, yes, right. Okay, for everyday teaching, you need a lesson plan that you, as a teacher, prepare yourself. Okay, this lesson plan of yours is different from the syllabus that you use because the syllabus is usually provided or is prescribed by some officials in the educational program to the teachers to follow, right? Yeah, but based on that syllabus, you prepare your daily lesson plans to know how to cover everything in the syllabus in one session of the class and make sure that everything mentioned there is covered for that day. If this were the case, Haida, we would be really delighted to see teachers are involved in designing their own syllabuses. I don't know about your country, Iraq, but so far as I know, in Iran, school teachers or teachers start teaching at institutions are not allowed to design their own syllabuses. They just follow a prepared syllabus, a syllabus that is prescribed to them to follow accordingly and exactly to make sure that all the content in the syllabus is covered throughout the the whole program. But the situation is different at the tertiary level, which is the university level. Here, it is only at the university level that
You are now muted.
professors are allowed to prepare their own syllabuses. I don't know whether it is exactly the same
You are
in
now
Iraq
unmuted.
or not.
You are now muted.
Yes, there's
Sire, I'm listening. Please go on.
yeah, there, doctor. This was just I already want to ask you before Haider if it's possibly for me or for any teacher to design our own syllabus. What issues put in account when they design such this syllabus?
Yes, the best case scenario would be allowing teachers to prepare their own syllabuses. You know why? Because no one better than the teacher knows about the here and now of the classroom. No one knows their students' needs, their progress, their problems, their points of strength and weaknesses, but any better than the teacher of the course. So who else can prepare the best and most relevant syllabus for the course than the teacher? But unfortunately, both in the past and even in today's world, a lot of teachers are only consumers of other people's syllabuses. You know why? Because they say that the teachers have not received enough training, do not know how to prepare their own syllabuses. And so they don't have any expertise in preparing their own syllabuses. And even if they know that this is important, they don't want to actually uh, invest in this area to provide enough financial support for the teachers to learn the way of designing the right syllabuses for their courses rather than being only the consumers of other people's syllabuses. So, thank you, Hen, for explaining that it's the same in your country. And in Iraq, the syllabus is designed by the government, and the teachers should follow it strictly. Here, at least this is the case here, that teachers are expected to strictly follow the syllabus, which is designed by the Ministry of Education. Yes,
Sorry,
Ebtisam, go ahead.
yes,
You are now
I'm listening
unmuted.
to you.
yes, I understand about the curriculum. The curriculum include
You are
the
now
whole
muted.
units in the book. For example, English book for any stage, the curriculum includes the whole units, but the syllables and any units, for example, in Iraq, include in lessons. So the teacher, when he or she makes syllables, he choose which lesson will be benefit for the students. Am
Excellent,
I right?
Ebtisam. Excellent. That's the best way of showing the differences between a
Yes,
curriculum and a syllabus.
yes. So the curriculum is mandatory in opposite of syllables.
Yes, of course. Yes, exactly. Now, look, if
Yes.
I want to give you a clear example of to picture the differences between the syllabus and the curriculum, I'm going to use the case of uh, your curriculum for educating in an Iranian university. Okay, so there is a curriculum for this ELT course you're mastering at the MA level. The curriculum has been prepared by the Ministry of Higher Education in Iran. So the courses that now you are taking one after the other are part of the content that the Ministry of Higher Education decides would be necessary for learners if they want to obtain their master's degree in ELT uh, major. So that's we are given, we teachers of the English department of the University of Mazandaran are given, and you students are given this curriculum, and you see that, for instance, you have this course, syllabus design and materials development, for, taught by me. You have other courses like teaching methodology. You have psycholinguistics. So the other courses that you're taking, all of them are decided to be included in this curriculum by a team of experts from our Ministry of Higher Education. So, uh, but what happens at the syllabus level? I am the teacher of this course. I take a look at the curriculum. The curriculum is exactly and more specifically defines each of these courses, the expectations that they have of teachers teaching these courses, the expectations that they have of learners in these courses. They suggest some materials, they suggest some methodology to adapt in order to teach the course. But finally, the kind of syllabus that I designed for this course is created by me. This is only true at the tertiary level, but at in our high schools or in our elementary level primary schools or other institutions of the country, the curriculum is designed, the syllabus is prepared by the same team of experts, and they expect teachers to follow the syllabus exactly and strictly without changing anything in it. So in most cases, we see that yes, curriculum is general in nature. Yes, thank you, Haydar. It's a standardized description of the uh, uh, main purposes of education, including educational and non-educational issues. Uh, it because the purpose of the education in general is to develop individuals for whole personality, to prepare them as responsible individuals for the society later on. So they want different aspects of the individuals to grow within the educational program. That's why when they are developing the curriculum, they attend to a lot of educational and non-educational issues at the same time or simultaneously. And very well, yes, curriculum needs to be a dynamic process. You know why? It's not something that is designed, for example, now and can be implemented for the next 100 years. It's not so. It's a dynamic process. Can you guess why?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Efteson?
Yes, because the curriculum doesn't follow the personalized approach. It is the same for all teachers and the students. Whereas syllabus reflects the personal approach of the teachers, and the syllabus curriculum doesn't change, while syllabus is highly flexible and many maybe even change during the study process based on the teacher himself or herself.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much. Exactly. A syllabus is, something changeable. The teacher can change the syllabus quite easily when noticing that things is speculated initially by you as a syllabus designer or by some other people are not useful or effective. So you decide to change them. It's more related to finding out the real needs of your learners in the classroom. While curriculum is basically and mostly based on the perceived needs that the team of experts have for the learners. That's absolutely right, Zainab. Thank you. Because learners' needs are dynamic. Learners' needs are changing all the time. And because of that, the curriculum should also be dynamic to be able to catch up with the changes, that happen in the learner's needs. And Haydar, if we can say that curriculum is general and syllabus is limited, that's absolutely right. General is still curriculum is general, and we are going to discuss how general it is, what stages are involved in the development of a curriculum, and what part syllabus plays in the whole curriculum development process. Syllabus is limited to the classroom. Syllabus is only limited to one subject matter, but curriculum is a more general statement of the purpose related to a whole program, an educational program in general. All right, now I guess now we have captured the distinction between curriculum and syllabus, and yes, definitely, Noor, it's a broad
Sorry there,
term.
doctor.
Yes,
Yes, just I want to ask you a personal question about when you decide to design your syllabus, your own syllabus, there, doctor. So, what things you put in consideration? Maybe I mean put in consideration student needs, student purposes, or and for this situation you are studying international students from another country. Do you put in consideration some issues that the students different in culture, different in different things?
Thank you, Sire, for asking this very, very good question. You see, if you take a, I have exactly the same course that I'm teaching you right now with my Iranian students. But if I send you their syllabus, you see that the content of your syllabus is totally different from the content of the syllabus I have prepared for them. You know why? Because I had a lot of chances, opportunities to know about Iranian language learners' needs with regard to the undertakings that they have had uh, throughout their BA courses. The courses they have passed, I am aware of the content of those courses and I know what background they have when it comes to syllabus design and materials development at the MA level. So, based on that information that I have about their background information, I know what their needs are uh, at the master's level, at the MA level, and what is expected of them to be involved in such a course in this level. But about you, I had some assumptions that I had some assumptions that I actually did not have any ideas about whether you had passed any courses related to syllabus design and materials development in your BA education in Iraq or not. So I decided to experiment with choosing the basics, the sources, the basic sources that introduce you into this field. That is choosing David Newnam's book that introduces is the best choice for introducing people who want to know more about this concept, this course, syllabus design and materials development, and gradually by you know establishing the foundation here and learning about what you already know, what needs you exactly have, we can make changes to the next steps of the syllabus. If you see, my syllabus is tentative when it comes to the selection of the content for each session. So it's tentative because I want to see how much time needs to be spent on each of these concepts, and I need to adjust it to your needs, to your wants, to your preferences. So in this sense, yeah, you have to have a lot of information about your learners in advance. For that, we will learn when we come to needs analysis and you're going to do a project in that regard, you will learn how you can gather enough information about your learners before the course begins or while the course is ongoing and after the course finishes. So there are stages that you need to follow in order to give you enough information about your learners to decide what best can be done in the course. Okay, Sar, did you receive your
Thank
answer?
you very much. I got it. Thank you very much indeed.
You're most welcome. All right, now, so thank you, Montazir. Syllabus is the plan, a roadmap for both teachers and students alike to help them cover the most important aspects specified in the curriculum. That's absolutely correct. And hey, Dad, you say that it's an outline of the education system. Yes, of course it is. It gives you a blueprint of what is expected to be covered throughout the MA course, throughout the BA course, the BA level, the BA major in a particular subject matter. That's right. And but syllabus is totally limited to the classroom context where you feel the need for the learners to learn particular aspects of the subject matter, uh, and that is definitely based on the information you gather about your learners when you're teaching them. Okay, now, so this much is enough. I'm sure now you have got the distinction between syllabus and curriculum. Now I want to move on to the next important idea to or concept to learn, and that is finding out more about the stages of curriculum development. In your book, a general curriculum model is introduced, and certain stages are uh, presented and explained about the development of the curriculum. So curriculum development happens in stages. Generally speaking, there are three major uh, processes or three major steps to follow to make sure that your curriculum is developed completely. Can you type those three stages of curriculum development if you remember them?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor. Yes, can I answer?
Yes, go on. What's your name? Is it Mani or
Mona, there, doctor.
Mona? Okay, Mona.
Yes. In fact, doctor, there are three stages to of an educational institution. The first stage is curriculum planning. The second stage is the implementation or the curriculum in action. And the third stage is assessment and evaluation.
Excellent, Mona. Thank you so much. That's right. So these are the major stages of curriculum development. Starting with the planning stage, continuing with the implementation. Number two, hey, that is implementation. Content and methods are part of the planning stage. The second stage is the implementation or curriculum in action stage. And the last one, as Mona has mentioned, is the assessment and evaluation of the curriculum. Okay, so let's find out more about the planning stage of the curriculum development process. What happens at the planning stage? Of course, the name speaks for itself.
Yes, doctor, can I explain it?
Yes, yes, go ahead, Mona, please.
Yes, in curriculum planning, that is a decision making in relation to identifying learners' needs and purposes, establishing goals and objectives, selecting and grading content, organizing appropriate learning arrangements and learner groupings, selecting, adapting, or developing appropriate materials, learning tasks, and assessment and evaluation tools in this stage.
Very good, exactly. So there is a task in your books. Could you please take a look at that task? It happens at the planning stage of the curriculum development. Let me find it myself first, tell you which page it is. It's task 2, the beginning of the general curriculum model. These are some planning tasks which are mostly related to what exactly happens at the planning stage of the curriculum development process. When the team of experts are sitting down, they are deciding about whatever is important to be planned, to be decided about, like they're making decisions about the learners' needs and their purposes for uh, studying in that particular institution, then establishing some goals and objectives, selecting the right content, grading the content, uh, organizing appropriate learning arrangements, grouping learners, selecting, adapting, developing appropriate materials, learning tasks, and finally evaluating and assessing the tools that the teacher uses. So these all happen at the planning stage of the curriculum development process. Now I want you to look at this list here and tell me in which order all these tasks, these planning tasks should happen when people are planning the curriculum. Which one should be done first?
Yes, Doctor.
Eftisam, yes?
Yes, I starting the objectives of the course.
You guess it starts with the objectives of the course, stating
Yes.
the objectives of the course. Sure,
Objective.
exactly. That's the very, very first place to start. For what
Yes,
purposes the course is provided. Very good. Then what is next?
Next, identifying topics, themes, and situations.
That's right. After you decide about the objectives of the course, now it's time to identify some topics, themes, and situations that can help you achieve those objectives, right?
Yes, and then the teacher selects suitable materials.
Before selecting suitable materials, there is still
Yes.
some other decisions to be made.
Designing learning activities and tasks.
Very good. Now you need to design some learning activities and tasks. But don't you think that before designing those learning activities and tasks, you need to list the grammatical and functional components first, which are related to each of the topics, themes, and situations? Okay, so first, again, if I want to repeat it again, first you state the objectives of the course, then you identify topics, themes, and situations, then you
designing.
No, before designing, you list the grammatical and functional.
Yes.
Listing
the grammatical and functional components.
After that,
then designing.
Yes, designing the learning activities and tasks that can be used to teach them.
Yes.
Then after that,
instructing students.
Very good. You start instructing your students and
the last stage, evaluating the course.
No, but first you need to monitor and assess your student progress.
Yes.
And finally,
evaluating the course.
To evaluate the course. Fantastic. Very good. Excellent. So that's absolutely what happens at the planning stage of the curriculum development process. This is the first stage. So you can see, since here you're thinking about the materials, you're thinking about the content, you're thinking about the activities and tasks, and how the content is going to be taught to the learners. Therefore, at the planning stage of the curriculum development process, you are also preparing the first draft of your syllabus, right? That's why we say syllabus design is part of the curriculum development process, and actually it is the first stage. It is at the first stage of the curriculum development process that syllabus is designed for the course. Is it clear, everyone, so far? Okay, now let's move on to the second one. The second stage, very good. Thank you, Mona, for answering. The second stage was called implementation. Now, can you explain what happens at the implementation stage of the curriculum development? It is also, as the book calls it, it is also called curriculum in action. Implementation.
Yes, Doctor.
Or Zainab, yes, please go on.
This in this stage, when we are in the classroom, related to the classroom itself. Here, we can observe the teaching process and study the ways in which the intentions of the curriculum planners, which were drafted during the planning phase and dedicated into actions.
That's absolutely right. Thank you, Zainab. So whatever has been decided at the planning stage, all those activities, all the content selected to be covered, to be taught, all the grouping or whatever we mentioned at the planning stage about the purposes and experience of the learners, how best they will learn, what content would help them. All of these things decided at the planning level are now taken into the real classroom, and they are being implemented by whom?
By teacher, I think, Doctor.
Yes, exactly. Teachers and learners, of course, right? Teachers cannot
Yes.
implement the curriculum without the help of the learners. So both teachers and learners are involved in the implementation process of the curriculum. Uh, okay, your friend Haydad has written here that implementation refers to how teachers deliver instruction and assessment through the use of specified resources provided in the curriculum. Curriculum design generally provides instructional suggestions, scripts, lesson plans, and assessment options related to a set of objectives. That's absolutely right. That's what I mentioned about the curriculum of your course, ELT in Iran, tells me what subjects you as master level students, MA level students, are expected to pass. Okay, there are certain descriptions, certain instructional suggestions. Some suggest the resources in the curriculum design. They are given to teachers, and teachers can make up their mind about which resources to use and how to uh, how to teach those the content to the learners according to the learners' needs and their knowledge of students' abilities and their preferences and things like that. Okay, very good. So the implementation here, at the implementation stage, it is expected that teachers and learners follow the syllabus design, the syllabus design that was suggested uh, uh, or prepared at the first stage of the curriculum development process to follow that plan and try to stick to it and try to see to what extent that initial plan, that initial syllabus is useful or effective. So the plan is very important. The plan is at the heart of the second stage, which is the implementation. They want to experiment with it to see the extent to which, the degree to which that this plan is supposed to be successful for the course. And the last one is what? The last stage after the implementation or
Yes,
putting.
Doctor, assessment and evaluation.
That's
Yes,
exactly right.
yes. In this
Assessment and
stage,
evaluation. What does it
yes, in
mean?
this,
Heftesan, can you
yes,
elaborate on it?
yes, in this stage, the teacher tried to find out what students had learned and what they to learn in the classroom, and they want to find what whether they had learned anything which had not planning in the syllabus, and why some things had succeed and others are failed, and to make recommendations about what changes may be made to improve things in the future, to improve the students' knowledge.
That's right, exactly. So that's the purpose of the evaluation. When you evaluate something, you want to answer a number of questions. The questions that were asked here, for instance, what students have learned, what has, uh, why certain things, had succeeded and some other things had failed. Why students learn certain things better than the others, and a lot of questions like this are answered when you are assessing and evaluating the plan or the curriculum plan, which is being implemented by the teachers. Now, my question is, now we want to find out who conducts this evaluation. Who should evaluate the course and the content that is presented the way that was planned by the team of experts at the initial stages of the curriculum development process?
The teacher, doctor, the teacher evaluate.
Very good, yes. So how can the teacher evaluate the course content?
Yes, when he test his or her students or assess them, and to know how or if they learn the material or not. And maybe sometimes he forced to change his plan if the student failed in the test.
That's right. Thank you, Efteson. That's absolutely right. You see, the teacher assesses the students through several different means. First of all, most of the teachers unconsciously, without knowing, us teachers are involved in an ongoing assessment of our students' progress by listening to them, by checking out their notes, by seeing how they answer the questions in the class, how active and participant they are. Uh, Based on this conversation that happens between the teacher and the learner, a lot of things are revealed to the teacher quite informally without the need of any test. But at the same time, you know that teachers use a lot of different means of assessing their students. Like they formatively assess their students by checking their progress through their homework, the assignments that they turn in, through the quizzes or the kind of question and answer that happens throughout the course. This kind of assessment that happens throughout the course while the course is ongoing is called formative assessment. And there is another way they wish to find out about how effective the course was by evaluating students at the end of the term, which is a summative sort of assessment. Gives you an idea about how much your students have learned, what difficulties or problems they still have, with what areas, and then you try to find answers to the questions that were raised. If students have failed in a certain part of the program, was it because of the material? Was it because of your teaching approach or methodology? Was it because of student factors like their fatigue, like, I don't know, lack of preparation for the test, or for a lot of factors that can affect their performance? So this is the evaluation that helps the teacher find out to what extent the material is effective for the student's progress in that particular subject matter. So yes, exactly, Mona. Teachers evaluate the curriculum because they want to know more about what they are teaching in the class and how their teaching is helping learners uh, obtain information and achieve their goals and objectives for the course. Uh, Alongside the teacher or besides teacher, some other people can also evaluate the curriculum. Do you have any idea who those other people might be?
Yes, Doctor.
Mona, go ahead.
Yes, I think the Committee of the Ministry of Education also take a role in evaluating the curricula, as well as curriculum publishers them can evaluate the curriculum.
Excellent, that's right. Officials responsible for examining the curriculum in action that are designated by the Ministry of Education, who come and observe the classes. Okay, so their observation tells a lot about how the curriculum is actually being implemented. Uh, of course, there are problems with this way of evaluation. It's not much more valuable. It's not at all as valuable as teacher evaluation. We all know why. Zainab, you've mentioned parents. How could parents uh, evaluate the curriculum? Any ideas? I just want to see why you've mentioned parents. Yes. That's absolutely right. It's not only for the benefit of to the benefit of the teachers who really understand what improvements they can make to their syllabus. It also provides very good information to the team of experts to decide what part of the curriculum they need to change and reform later on. When usually this happens when the feedbacks or the evaluation they receive uh, reaches the saturation level. It means that the saturation level is achieved when there's nothing new mentioned about the curriculum that is put into practice by the teachers. It means
Sorry,
that the
doctor.
information received is repeated, and they decide that now it's time to make some changes to the curriculum plan. So it usually takes around 10 years to come to the conclusion that this change is necessary. Other than that, yeah, people might even wait longer than 10 years to decide to make changes to their initial curriculum of the course. Yes, Ebtisam, do you want to say something?
Yes, sorry, doctor. About
Google chat diyelim.
Zainab, what Zainab said. Can I ask a question? Can parents evaluate syllabus about the teacher when, for example, when a lot of students failed in the exam once or twice? Can their parents evaluate or and tell the teacher about, for example, her or his syllabus may be wrong?
Usually parents are considered as a stakeholder in the educational program because a lot of decisions that are made about their children at a school eventually affects their future careers, their future life. So parents are very much concerned about whatever happens in the schools or in the classroom. But the sort of evaluation that comes from parents is not valid. Very good, Haydar, because parents are not experts. Parents cannot give you expert opinion about to what extent the material is useful. But teachers are definitely the best sources to refer to find out how best a program is working for the students in the course in the class. All right.
Yes, yes, doctor. But when many parents complain about the way of teaching, about a specific teacher.
So we should ignore them after some because they know nothing about the things that you as a teacher has been trained for. They just look at, they just want quick outcomes. Parents are not patient enough. They just expect too much, too high of a teacher. They are not very familiar with the realities of your classroom. So the best thing is just to listen to them and try to convince them that you're doing your best and you're making the right decision for their children in the
Yes,
classroom.
exactly. This is what I said. I want to say. Thank you, doctor. Thank
Thank you so much, Epsom. Thank you so much for clarifying. All right, now, so it's therefore the three stages of the curriculum are explained, and remember that it is exactly based on the feedback that the experts, the team of experts, get either from the teachers teaching the course or from the examiners, the outside examiners uh, designated by the Ministry of Education to go and observe the classes and to see to what extent the plan is being implemented by the teachers based on the plan and how successful it is. Based on all the feedback that they receive, they do something else that I mentioned happens usually after a very long time. It doesn't happen exactly after receiving the first series of evaluation. It usually takes some time, like usually the gap it would be between 10 to 20 years, depending on the readiness of the Ministry of Education for introducing this reform or change. Uh, then they decide to make some certain modifications to the curriculum and then again initiate the same stages of planning, implementation, and evaluation over and over again. So Uh, that's exactly based on this the recommendations they receive on the basis of the evaluation that they decide what else needs to be done with the plan. So Montazir has asked a question. Who supposed evaluates the syllabus according to your opinion, the teacher or the manager or the supervisor? Who is the best to do that? Okay, that's a very good question, Montazir. Thank you so much for asking this very important question. What do you guess? Uh, who do you think would be the best person to do the evaluation? Uh, Haydar says, I think it returns to experience. So you mean people who do it should have experience? In Iraq, they can evaluate the curriculum by final school percentages. That's not the right way. Unfortunately, this happens in Iran as well, based on the evaluation they receive from students' grades. They decide how successful the curriculum was. But this is not the right way, or the, let's say, the best way of evaluating the course. Don't you think that the best person who can make the right judgment about the value of the material, the worth of the material in the learning process would be the teacher? I got it, Haydar. Yes, the best person who has enough knowledge and expertise and experience in the field. Uh, It can be evaluated by supervisors. That's what actually has been happening. I'm sure you said that you have someone from the Ministry of Education to come and supervise the classes, to observe your classes. That's the same in Iran as well. But uh, based on my own experience, based on what theory says, based on what we know about the realities of the classroom, the best teacher to me would be the best person to me would be the teacher who knows better than the teacher about the here and now of the classroom, who knows better than the teacher what real needs your students have. The team of experts only have some perceived knowledge about learners' needs, but the teacher is in close contact with the learners. The teacher is seeing them on a daily basis, spending a lot of time with the students. So definitely the teacher is the best person to evaluate the course and say to what extent the content, the activities, and everything that is happening is suitable and relevant to students' needs. You know, teachers' role unfortunately is neglected. Mostly, it's not just in the third world countries like yours and ours. It's even in the most educational, uh, progressive educational parts of the world, teachers are not that much included in the evaluation process. Usually they say that, as Haydar has mentioned, teachers do not have enough expertise, they do not have enough knowledge to evaluate the course. But to me, the best people would be teachers. The teachers, uh, you see why? Because one certain plan, I'm sure if you are teachers, you agree with me that, it has happened a lot to me that I prepare a certain a certain syllabus for my course. And based on the knowledge that I have about my learners, and based on certain expectations and, certain predictions that I make according to the nature of the course. Then I prepare the syllabus, I implement it in my course, and I see that it works wonder. And both the students and I, myself as the teacher of the course, are happy, very satisfied. The course is so dynamic, and we are doing very, very great. And then I decide, wow, this I have come up with the best syllabus for this particular course, say syllabus design and materials development. I'm going to use it in my other courses. But it happens that this same syllabus that works best in one of my classes is a total failure in the next. You know why? Because the students are not the same. Students have changed. The students' features and characteristics have changed. The students' individual differences are different. The students' learning styles are different. Students' expectations are different. Students' desires and preferences are different. So every classroom context is a unique context, and for every classroom you need to design a totally new syllabus to match, to correspond to the relevant needs of your students. So that's why I would say the teacher is the best person to evaluate the course. You see the point? Now that we have come, yes, dear Mona, do you have a question?
No, doctor, no. I mean, it's clear.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Let me see what your friend has written here. The syllabus evaluated by the teacher, and the teacher evaluates the supervisor. All evaluate according to the result. Uh, yes, evaluated by the teacher. Yes, I see what you mean to say. The syllabus is evaluated by the teacher is evaluated by the supervisor, and then exactly the decision is made on the basis of the final uh, information received from. There should be a sort of communication between the teacher and the supervisor. The supervisor should not act as a person, a know-it-all person, someone who knows better than the teacher. We have a lot of supervisors with that mentality that since they are supervisors and examiners, they are supposed to know much better than the teacher, and they force their opinion upon the teacher. They don't want to accept the fact that the teacher has a voice, the teacher has a kind of role to play in the evaluation process. If they are not this much, you see, biased, the supervisors are, in fact, uh, informative enough and wise enough to consult the teacher, collaborate with the teacher. This would be the best way of evaluation ever. Very good. Thank you so much, Montazir, for mentioning this point. Now, we will, the one part of this chapter remains, and that is related to the role of the teacher in the process of evaluating, the process of syllabus design. What role do you think teachers play in the syllabus design? At least I want you to tell me about the role of teachers in your country. Are teachers in Iraq allowed to design their own syllabuses, or should they only follow the syllabuses provided by the officials strictly in their courses? What is the case over there? Would you please let me know?
Yes, doctor.
Yes?
Yes, doctor. The role of the teacher here is to implement the plans of applied linguistics, government agencies, and so on. So some teachers have, some or most of the teachers have a relative free hand in designing the syllables on which teaching are based in the classroom.
Is it the case in Iraq, in your country, Eftisam? Do you have a free hand in
Yeah,
designing your own
yeah,
syllabuses?
yes. In the teacher, yes, design the syllables
Oh,
according to yes, according to for example his or her students needs.
that's absolutely fantastic. Very good. That's good to hear. Because in here, at least so far as I know, uh, especially in our institutions, institutions that are responsible for teaching English to language learners, teachers are not allowed to design their own syllabuses. They give them the prescribed syllabus to follow, and usually they are very strict about the changes that teachers sometimes make to the syllabus to make it more relevant to students' needs. So they have issues with even changing or modifying some parts of the syllabus, let alone allowing teachers to prepare their own syllabus. That's really great to hear that you are free, you are allowed to design your own syllabuses over there in Iraq. Okay, so that's good. If you have, so who best, who better than the teacher can design the syllabus for the course. And remember, the best syllabuses are the ones that are what?
You are now unmuted.
The best syllabuses are the ones that are fixed or flexible. Which one?
Or flexible, doctor.
Flexible.
Of course, flexible. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, the doctor.
go ahead.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes, I think it's something between. I mean, not a flexible or a fixed. Here in Iraq, I mean, and somehow teacher are a free hand, has a limited free hand in use their own design syllabus, but exactly they are free in using and selected some we call it strategies, techniques, aspect. They find it's very benefit and suitable for their his students.
Okay, so you mean that the content is already selected by someone else, but you are allowed to change the techniques or the methodology that
Okay,
suits your students best. Is it?
okay,
Is it?
okay. Teacher also allowed to maybe added something extra things. They find it's right for his students and omit or delete some topics.
Content.
Maybe
So even they can manipulate the content. They can modify the content if they see that it's not suitable for the learners, right?
exactly.
Okay, that's perfect. That's great. That's great to hear. Uh, because unfortunately, our students do not have the chance here. Schools are totally, you know, they totally dictate teachers what to do. The school has the least freedom in Iran than any other places, and in most of the institutions, teachers are not even allowed to change the content or even choose the methodology for teaching the the content to the learners the way they best this they find it best for the students to use. Okay, that's good news. That's good to hear that
You are now
you have
unmuted.
this much of freedom in Iran. Very well now. Yes, Haida, do you want to add something? So it depends. It depends on the personality of the supervisor. If I'm not, yeah, depending on the supervisor, how cooperative he is, you can make changes. But if the supervisor is strict, then perhaps you're not allowed to change anything. That's good. All right. Now, thank you for painting the picture about your country. Great. That's great.
You are now
Yeah,
muted.
but this is really important. Teachers need to be involved in the design of the syllabus or be allowed to do so. There is a new kind of view towards curriculum in the traditional sense, curriculum involved three stages of planning, implementation, and evaluation. In a more modern view of curriculum, the second stage is called enactment rather than implementation. And when it's changed to enactment, by changing the second stage to enactment, they have given more voice, they have given more responsibility to the teachers, and interestingly to the learners to decide what is best for them, what you know works best for them in the class regarding the content, regarding the activities, the tasks, the methodology, and everything else. There is a shared collaboration and cooperation. This is a joint project between the teacher and the students. They take a look at the initial plan prepared by the Ministry of Education. Then they say that, for example, a certain part of this plan is really suitable. Students like to engage in it. They find it useful and effective. And then they try to, with the help of the teacher, decide how they can replace the content or replace the methodology and techniques uh, following the students' preferences, students' wants and desires. This is a wonderful experience, and unfortunately, this kind of curriculum view is rarely seen around the world. I told you, even in the most advanced educational uh, programs of the world, still implementation is used. It's because mainly due to the cost effectiveness of the process. Enactment is costly because they need to train teachers, and at the same time they have to be responsive to parents who all the time wait for finding faults with the teachers. And if they find out that students are engaged in the design of the syllabus, they might question the authority of the teacher and say, for instance, uh, blame the teacher for not knowing what he should do, and he's asking for students' help to run the course. So, because of a lot of uh, issues like these, enactment unfortunately has not been uh, very much prevalent in the world. I know of two countries, one Australia and the other one New Zealand, who use this kind of view towards the curriculum process, development process, and they are very happy with the result. Fortunately, I hope one day the whole world will move towards the enactment view. Uh, in Iraq, you cannot change anything. There's an outline from Ministry of Education and forced to follow instructions. So if that's the case, then it is exactly like our schools, our Iranian schools here, that everything is dictated by the Ministry of Education and teachers are expected to follow. I won't use the word forced. Teachers are expected to follow instructions accordingly. And if not, they will be scolded. They would be, yes, criticized for not following the guidelines of the Ministry of Education and deviating from it. All right, now, so unfortunately, time is up, and we still have the second chapter content to discuss. Uh, uh, you see, before I forget, please make sure you do task three on page 5 and 6, and send your answers to the WhatsApp group along with your new notes on chapter 3 of the book. I'm gonna exactly write down the pages that you need to study for the next session, because you already have chapter 2, but there's not much to discuss in this chapter. So perhaps the first half an hour of the class, we will discuss issues related to uh, the chapter 1, which is it chapter 1? No, it's chapter chapter 2 was chapter 2, and we are going to start chapter 3 of this book, which starts from page 27 up to the end of this chapter. It introduces product-oriented syllabuses, and I'm sure we are going to find time to cover both chapter 2 and chapter 3 in our next session. Okay, thank you very much indeed, everyone, for your nice participation in today's class. I wish you all the best. Take care and see you next week.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for explanation. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for your help. You too. Take care. Goodbye.